What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day today. Today is Monday and we are not working on the new cruiser today because we were waiting on some parts, an alternator. We got the fuel pump and the fuel filter, but we do not have the parts necessary to try and get that running, do a compression test and all the necessary things in order to determine whether this motor is worth keeping. And if we do sell the motor, that we can give some efficacy to the new owner that it did have good compression, that it was running decently, or what problems it had and what parts it may need. So today we are working on something very fun that I've been wanting to do for a long time. We've got this sheet metal bending brake from Harbor Freight, and we've got a real thin, I'm not sure on the gauge of this, but real thin. And what we're doing is we picked up this free Craftsman little bench set here, which is really cool. And we're going to we've clamped this brake to the table, and we're going to try and bend this in the dimensions so that we can get a hood stack shroud. And we'll paint this, we'll primer and paint it black to match the kind of white and black offset of the Land Cruiser. So this is the 6-inch hole saw we used for the hood stack, or the exhaust coming out of the hood. So what I wanted to do is make something similar to like a TSO style hood stack shroud. This is not the actual exhaust, this is just the shroud that goes around it to kind of give it a little bit of flair and to not just have the exposed 3-inch exhaust out of the engine bay. So this is a 6-inch hole saw. Again, this is 8 by I think 24 piece of sheet metal. This is just mild steel. What I was originally trying to do was see if I could cut out a hole in this and then essentially bend or cut and weld these pieces. I determined that getting a brake would be much easier for this. So I've made one out of cardboard here. I kind of just marked little 2-inch segments thereabouts. This is real just rudimentary. This is a hood stack shroud. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna kind of use this as a template. I got the dimensions that I like. This is my first time ever using a metal brake. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do 20-degree bends at first so that I can always bend more, but we've got I think 9 flats on this I counted around with the 2-inch segments for this particular diameter, and we're just going to kind of go by the seat of our pants and hopefully we don't mess this up because steel is expensive. So we've gone ahead and marked all of our 2-inch segments in between each of the folds, and then these are clamped onto this bench, and then we've clamped this die piece which is beveled and it has this really fine edge which will be what the metal's bending on. And that'll work. That's all we're really looking for, is just a nice crisp, clean fold along that line. So let's go ahead and keep trying to bend it and see what we get. So because I'm lazy and didn't actually use the angle finder, you can see here that we've got some nice bends here that are at whatever angle that is. And these initial ones that I did, because I was just kind of feeling it out, they're not quite there yet, and it's not bent in. We want to have this kind of bent into this last fold here like this. Well, I am actually very happy with how that came out. I overbent just a little bit, but this line is going to go here, and we're going to tack this and weld it on both sides so that it's even, and then just finish up the weld so it is sealed. And then that's going to be our hood stack. So we're going to just clamp this to our bench here and then take an angle grinder, cut that down. All right, so we cut enough anyways to get a little bit of a flap disc on there and clean it up. And now we're just going to use our old trusty, the titanium Harbor Freight flex core welder. We've got our settings just kind of right in the middle. So E, I guess, and around 5, probably a little overkill for this thin of gauge, but we'll try and see how it goes. I don't have my welding hood anymore, so I'm just going to try with 2 pairs of sunglasses. Hope that works. So I just kind of configured different higher wire feed speed and lower amperage and just kind of filled it and then grinded away the excess, so that'll work. Note to self, before you start grinding with an angle grinder on steel, do make sure that any gasoline or flammable liquids are far away from you, because that was almost really tragic. So anyways, let's get on with it. Now what we want to do is just join these 2 pieces together. This will be our mounting piece onto the hood, and we'll just drill 4 holes, bolt holes through it with some bolts and nuts and washers, of course, maybe. And so what we're going to do now is just take our Sharpie and outline these folds, and then use the angle grinder to make little incisions here so that we have a hole coming through the bottom. Drew an outer and an inner line to make sure that we're not cutting into where we need to be welding so we lose material there, and then have open holes because this is going to be really hard to weld and not cut through it. So let's go ahead and cut this out. We got it aligned with the cutouts that we made, so we're just going to tack it just a little bit in each segment just to make sure that it's not going anywhere. All right, so I went ahead and just kind of finished up a little bit of the welds. It's definitely ugly, but the paint kind of covers it a little bit. Not really, but again, this is a hood stack. Who cares? This is actually crinkle black. I really like the way this looks, and this was just kind of sprayed. I'm gonna spray over all these little areas that I messed up to make it look semi-clean, but I like that crinkle kind of look. It's kind of cool. The more layers you add, it's more complex kind of. So I'm gonna go put this as a template on top of the hood so I can drill through the hood, and then we'll get this thing installed. One thing I didn't realize was the exhaust is going to be sticking out, and obviously we want to kind of hide that so it gives the illusion that this is the exhaust. So we're going to go ahead and take the fiberglass wrap off of it and then just cut it down just so it's not flush, just a little below, so it's kind of hidden and the optic is a little bit better. Yeah, and that way it's a lot more flush. At least this thing sits pretty tall and I'm on the sidewalk, so from this way at least it looks like it's semi-hidden. I don't want to go too deep because then it's going to be getting in the engine bay, so we'll just kind of keep it with that. I like the look of that. So all right, so the mounting holes are really janky right now. I've got 3 different pieces of hardware too, so it looks terrible right now, but I'll fix that in the future. I'll get it looking better and clean all this up and get the right color coded hardware and everything. But yeah, I should have measured before I cut all this, but it'll be fine. I'll figure out a way. I might even just weld it to the hood at this point, since there's already a hole in it. That might even just look better, and it'll take away from all of the holes that were drilled through it. It'll be a little bit more OCD friendly. So anyways, that's all I got for you today. Definitely not happy with the finished product as of yet, but we've got some tinkering to do with it. So, but anyways, you can't win them all, and sometimes you just run out of time in the day. So next video we'll be actually driving this, hopefully, if we get everything sorted with the alternator and the smog pump and all of that. So parts will be here tomorrow, but thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, post them down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful evening.